Alright guys, welcome to the channel. So I wanted to do something a little different with this video. The topic is don't do this. And so what I wanted to do was take the time to share some of the knowledge that I've learned throughout my first year of professionally detailing and kind of share those tidbits with you. So that way, maybe if you're considering opening up your own business and starting your own professional detailing business, that these little tips will help you on your journey and hopefully not make the same mistakes that I did and save yourself a time, frustration, and money that goes into starting a business. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is chemicals, products, and tools, because that's going to be the biggest part of your detailing business outside of a few other things that I'll talk about. But that's how you operate your business, is based on the chemicals, products, and tools and equipment that you use. So my first tip is don't fall for the hype. There's a lot of videos out there showing you, some really cool setups, some vans with, doors that swing open, and they've got, organized chemicals, and they've got, areas where they have gallons of chemicals and all of that stuff. And one day you'll get to that point, but don't shoot for there just yet, because you might shoot yourself in the foot. So one thing that I've done and that I do in my business is to keep it simple. You already set your schedule. You already know what you're doing a day in advance, 2 days in advance, 3 days in advance. You know what your details look like. You know what service you're going to give that customer. So you know what tools, equipment, and products you need for that day. So there's no need for you to go out there and stock up your truck with every known chemical, every known product, every known tool, every known equipment. You're not going to battle. You're just detailing. And you already know what to expect. And you can have some things in reserve for those times where something might come up. But for the most part, you already know what the customer is looking for. You've already asked the right questions. You've already probed the customer. You've already gotten pictures. You already know what to expect in this detail. So you have a pretty good idea of what tools and products and chemicals you're going to need to complete that service for the customer. So what I do is I bring the bare minimum. For interiors, I just bring an interior cleaner, a glass cleaner, dressing, and I also have some chemicals that I can use for any spot cleaning that I might need to do. For the most part, that's all I'm bringing for the interior. I also have products like rinseless wash. The rinseless solution is a great product to always have on your truck, because you can use it for so many different things. And that brings me to kind of part B of this topic, is choosing products that are versatile, highly dilutable, can use for multiple things, and you don't have to carry 14 chemicals to do something that one chemical can do just fine. So making sure you have chemicals that are that way, as well as highly dilutable, that also touches on your profit margin. So choosing chemicals that cost per ounce makes sense for your business. Highly dilutable chemicals that you can use based on the severity of the car that you're dealing with. So if you're dealing with a car that is not so dirty, you might pull out your rinseless, which you already have for a rinseless wash. So you can use that for an interior. You can use that for glass cleaning. Or if you know that you're going to be dealing with an interior that's a little dirtier, then you bring something that's specific for interior cleaning. And so having an interior cleaner that you can dilute depending on the severity of the interior is super important. And that follows along with all chemicals. Same thing for my tire dressing. I use a highly dilutable tire dressing made by Detail Co.'s Guardian. It's actually my new favorite because it's super dilutable. You can dilute it 4-to-1, you can dilute it 10-to-1, you can do it 1-to-1, depending on the look, the sheen, and exactly what you're looking for and what the customer is looking for. You can choose products that do that for you. So that's my biggest thing. I'll show you exactly what I have in my bin. I don't have a big setup. Would I love to have that? Yes, and I'm sure one day I will. but it's not a goal. It's not something for me. My primary goal is to provide the best results I can and save money while doing it, and not, just push money out for chemicals and products that are just not necessary. And in the first year of business, you want to make sure that you're doing things very mindful, very thoughtful, and making sure that you are not just spending money for no reason. So chemicals and products, tools, equipment, those are all things that you will just empty your bank account with if you're choosing the wrong products. In terms of tools and equipment, you don't need to have the state-of-the-art equipment. You don't need to have the best products, the best tools, the best equipment, name brand things. You don't have to have a $6,000 generator. You don't have to have a $40,000 extractor. These are all things that you can get down the line, but for starting out, it doesn't make sense, because a majority of the detailing you're doing does not require that. You can do the dry method when it comes to carpet shampooing. You don't need to get an extractor. There are jobs where you might need that, but for me, I use a rip clean with a vacuum, and that works perfectly fine. I don't need to invest into a $20,000 extractor that's just going to sit in my truck, weigh it down, and just take up space for no reason. And like I said, maybe down the line in the future, that might be a purchase that I will make when the funds are available. But for just starting out, it's not a necessity. Air compressors, the same thing. Once you start out, you can start out with basic tools and equipment, and you can get the job done. And eventually, once you start building up your clientele, getting more income, then you can start investing in those equipment, because the customer does not know the difference if you blew out their interior before you vacuumed, or maybe you spent an extra 30 minutes because you didn't have a compressor to blow it out and you had to use your vacuum. The customer doesn't care what you have on your truck. So these products and tools and equipment that you're getting is essentially to make your job easier, to make you more efficient, and at the end of the day, to allow you to do these jobs quicker, so you make more money and less time dedicated to these details. All right, so let's talk about bulk items that I carry on my truck and chemicals in general. I only carry these 4 gallons with me on every detail. Every day, these are the only 4 gallons I carry with me. This is my interior cleaner. I have it diluted 8:1, and that works for 90% of the jobs. Sometimes I do bring the concentrated gallon with me for jobs that I might think that could be a little tougher and I might need to dilute it a little more or a little less. So I might bring the gallon with me, but 90% of the jobs, this is what I use, and I fill up my sprayer with this chemical diluted 8:1. The next one is tire dressing. This is my tire dressing. I have it diluted 4:1. This works perfectly for trim, for wheel wells, for tires. I spray it on with my sprayer and it works perfectly fine 4:1. I don't ever really do it any less than this. I've tried a bunch of different dressings. For my business, this works great. Now, would I use it for my own car? I might use different products, but for details that I'm doing, this gives me the same results. It's highly dilutable. It's a great price point, and cost per ounce, it just makes more sense for me. So that's what I use for that. The next one is my soap. I bring my soap just because sometimes I want to use a little more, a little less. Sometimes I'll bring it in a dilutable container, kind of like this one here. I usually see that I'm filling it up too frequently and it takes up too much of my time, so I just bring the gallon. It's just not worth it. And then my APC, this is my exterior APC. This one I use, normally I use 5:1, but sometimes I might need to use it for different uses, so I might have to dilute it more or less. So I always bring the concentrated in a full gallon so that I can do it way based on the detail that I'm doing that day. So last but not least, this is where my chemicals live. I only have 2 containers. This smaller one is my interior. This bottom one is my exterior. In here I have my foam cannon. I have an extra soap as a backup. I have my motor plast for engine bay detailing and a few other things that I have in here. or just in case situations like water spot remover or tar remover, things like that, I'll keep in here. But that's it. That's the extent of my exterior. For my interior, I only have I think four products in here, and I usually bring this bag here with me, and this bag is what I'll use to kind of put brushes and pet tools and all that stuff in there. But this is my interior cleaner, this is my glass cleaner, this is my protectant or my interior dressing. I use this for pet hair. I have brushes for carpets, I have pet cleaning stuff, I have bio bombs for my steamer. And yeah, brushes, carpet, pet stuff, and that's really all I carry in here. So 4 products is what I use on my interior. I have a section where I keep bulk items inside of the truck, and so let me show you what I have in there. So in here is where I keep my carpet cleaning stuff. And so normally I would bring this on jobs where I know I'm going to do a deep clean, or what I would call a reset plus, which is just a surface cleaning of all the floor mats and the seats. I'm not bringing out the extractor, I'm not doing all of that. I'm just kind of doing the dry method on the seats and the floor mats. And what I'll use is my drill brush, and I have my chemicals in here that I use. My step 1, my step 2, I have an extra gallon for the cleaner. I also have it in a spray bottle as well. I have my finisher bottle here that I have to fill. And that's it. That's all I have in here. I also keep a gallon. On that side, I usually keep a couple of gallons of distilled water, which is what I would use for my steamer. And so I have that on that side. But for the most part, that's all I carry with me in terms of chemicals. So now, as you can assume, this is where a majority of the detailing business happens operationally. But there are so many different other facets of the business that you might not know about. Let me take you to another location where I spend most of my time. Welcome to the other side of detail, the side no one really talks about. I know everyone sees like we're in there cleaning wheels and we're driving around in our rigs and we're filling up chemicals and we're talking to customers and we're doing all kinds of things out there operationally. But in here is where you're working on marketing, you're working on advertising, you're working on social media, you're working on your website, you're working on QuickBooks and figuring out your finances and all of that. This is the side that no one talks about. So, or not that no one talks about, but maybe they don't talk about it as frequently. So here is where a lot of the other work happens. And so touching on that, I kind of want to talk about what I feel like was my biggest regret in my first year of detailing was falling for the ads. So if this is number 2, this would be don't pay for ads. And the reason why I recommend this, and this is not the rule that you will follow for the rest of your business. It is just the rule that I recommend you don't do, at least in your beginning stages of your business. Because there are so many other ways to advertise your business, to get your name out there, to show people what you're doing and the results that you can give them, that ads aren't always the best way to do that. I did Google ads when I first started because I wanted to get my name out there. I had some competition and no one really knew that I even existed. And I got a call from a Google rep and they made it sound like I would really get some great traction to my website and I would get some really great business. And they didn't lie. My website did travel across the nation and I got visitors from all over the place. And that's really great, but it's not great for business in terms of getting your name out to the people who care about your business, which is the local community that you're in. And so I got a few ceramic jobs and I got some details and it was great, but I was paying $300 plus a month And I was bringing in enough to be profitable, but not when you factor in the Google ads. It just took too much of my income that there wasn't any benefits to doing the ads. And I wish that I could have done things differently in the beginning. So I hope that this helps you on your journey to starting your detailing business. Is don't fall for the ads. They are great and they bring traction to your website and they bring traction to your business, but it's not always the right audience, and it's not always the audience that you want in terms of the customer that you're looking for. And that kind of connects back to having an idea of who your customer looks like. And that was super important for me. I mean, I did a whole market research when I started this business. I looked at what the gross income, I looked at census reports. I did all kinds of reports looking into like the median income and the family size and all kinds of things that were in my community, so that I could figure out where my customer existed, and also to figure out what customer I wanted for my business. Because not every customer is for you. And maybe if you're doing a detailing business where you're charging $50 for a detail, maybe anyone is your customer. But for me, I wanted to make sure that I catered my business to a specific type of customer. So doing that research was really important for me. So that's one tip that I can share. Maybe not a don't do this, but do this, is reach out to your community, figure out who your niche audience is, what your customer looks like, who your customer is, and figure out how to cater your marketing and your advertising to those people. In the beginning of my business, I wasn't really sure who my audience would be. So I started out, we have a really big art community here in the Twentynine Palms, Joshua Tree, Yucca Valley area. And so I figured a person who has an appreciation for art, has the disposable income to pay for art, they might be the customer I'm looking for to also spend that disposable income because they care about their vehicle. And so I started going to art shows and I started hanging out with people who were in the art community. And I still have ties there. I don't know that I technically had any business come from there, but that's where I started. And then eventually I started reaching out to business owners, fellow business owners. And I would go to each business, local business, and I would talk to the owner and tell them about my business, tell them about myself and who I was and what I was trying to do, leave them some business cards and ask them if they could share those business cards with their customers. Just trying to cross-pollinate my business with other businesses in the area, because they know the struggle with getting customers for their business, so they can respect your hustle and hopefully help you with getting your business out in front of the right kind of people. So I did that for a little bit. I went to some local car shows, dropped off some business cards, and the one thing that I would say that has benefited me the most is connecting with connecting with Airbnb owners, hosts of Airbnbs, or property managers that take care of Airbnbs. And I didn't know this in the beginning. A friend of mine had mentioned it, that they have binders in their Airbnbs that show local things to do, hikes and all these things that they can do, and local vendors and food and all this stuff. So I thought that might be a place for me to showcase my business. So I connected with Airbnb owners and property managers, and I asked if I could print out a flyer and get put into their binder. And maybe not a lot of traction from that audience, but I definitely built connections and networked with people who live in the community, who not only have the Airbnbs, but they own the Airbnbs. They have their own vehicles. So sometimes those Airbnb people reach out to me and have me detail their cars, maybe not for their guests, but for themselves. They also have a big network of people because they all kind of connect with each other. And so that's a way to kind of spread the word with your business. So that's really had a big impact. Another impact for my business is working on my website, establishing a Google business account. So that would connect me to the third one is do not wait to create a social media footprint. Start now. And that's something that I wish I would have done sooner. I had my Instagram. I didn't really focus much on Facebook because I wasn't really a Facebook user. I didn't really focus on TikTok or even the Nextdoor app. I primarily focused just on Instagram, and I had my website up, and I waited a little bit to establish myself with a Google My Business account, which all things I wish I would have done sooner. So do not wait to create a social media footprint, an online presence with your business. Create your website, even if it's a page. It doesn't have to be 14 pages of all kinds of different things. Eventually you will create content. You will have those details that you can post about those items. But for right now, create your website, post it, start your Google My Business account. It takes at least 3 to 4 months before Google starts even recognizing your business and bringing people to your page. So the sooner you start, the better. I started pretty quickly, but I feel like I should have done it way sooner because it took so long for my page and my business to gain traction on the Google universe that I wish I would have done it sooner. So that would be my third tip is do not wait. Start your Instagram, start your Facebook, start TikTok, get on Nextdoor app, and start updating your Google My Page profile, start updating your website, and doing all these things will help you create not only a presence for your business, but these are things that you're going to want to do frequently. I'm here updating my Google profile at least twice, maybe 3 times a month, and I think I should be doing it more frequently. I'm here working on my website, updating pages on my website, going on YouTube to research chemicals and tools and products and because your business is constantly evolving. So don't stay stagnant. Know that there's constant research, constant development, constant evolution, and you will definitely be setting yourself up for success. So I hope that this video helps. I know it's not my normal format. I'm not out here cleaning a car. I did deal with some personal issues over the last week that I've been going through, and so I've kind of put a pause on the business for a little bit in terms of my schedule, so to deal with that. So I didn't really have a detail to do this week to showcase anything, but I hope that this information helps you on your business journey to know that it is exactly that. It is a journey, and we all learn from each other. And as long as we're all sharing with each other and being kind and being gentle with each other and knowing that we're all on our own journey, I think that would be super helpful. The detailing community is an amazing community. I had no idea before I started that it would be this great. And I've met some really amazing people. And I know that you will as well too. So I hope reaching out to these people and picking people's brains, they're there to help you. Picking my brain, I can help you out with as much as I can. And I hope that this video helps you with figuring out how you want to operate and manage your own detailing business. So thank you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.